Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shira. If you're new, welcome. So today's video is going to be about how to travel cheaply and how I backpacked across Europe for 8 weeks and only $3,000. So if you want to know how I did it and you want to know how to travel cheaply, keep on watching. Let's get into the video. Ooh. Okay, so step one. For travel, you have to decide what you want to get out your trip. So whether that's you want to see all of the wonders of the world, you want to go to a nice beach, you want to go to a nudist beach, you want to learn more about the Holocaust in Europe, whatever the case may be, the step one is to decide why you want to travel. Because that will lead you into step two, which is to decide where you want to go. And where you want to go is, obviously totally up to you. There's so much to see. I personally chose Europe because I wanted to see how Europe memorialized World War II. The good thing about if you do decide that you want to go to Europe is that you can go from city to city, country to country for very low cost. So after you decide where you want to go, step three would be to determine how much you are going to save. Now, this depends on the country because Europe is expensive and the euro is actually worth more than the US dollar. So I knew that I would have to save a lot of money. Now, if you're going to a place where their currency is not as highly valued as your country, you may not need as much money. So for me personally, I saved $110 over a period of 30 weeks. Now, this is the hardest part, sticking to a budget. And the only advice, or some advice that I would give to you as to how to save or how to stick to your savings budget, is to create like a little image board of the place that you want to go to. Like, I knew I wanted to go to Europe, so I stuck to my budget, but it's not always that easy. Sometimes things come up and, you might have to dip into your savings accounts. You might have, a medical emergency, or your car might break down and you gotta like dip into your savings account. So that's very understandable. So I would just say try to have a separate account for your trip. As long as you start somewhere and you continue to remember your end goal, which is to travel. So that was step three. Step four, once you have started your savings plan, not when you're done, but once you started your savings plan. Y'all, my nail is broke. This looks a hot mess, but I'm in the mix of trying to pack up my life and get myself together. So don't judge me for my broke nail. Okay, so I'm gonna post somewhere on the screen. I don't know. It's gonna be in one of these corners next to my head. I don't know. It's gonna be on the screen of the journey that I created on Google Maps. And I just kind of tried to draw a circle. Now, it may not look like a circle from the picture, or it wasn't necessarily a perfect circle, and as you can see, Iceland is not on there, but I ended up ending my trip in Iceland. So once I created that map of where I wanted to go, I added some things, I tweaked it, I played around with it basically, because I wanted to kind of go in that circular motion. It's time to book accommodations, which is going to be step 5. Now, me personally, I would say book everything in advance, especially if you're going to multiple places. Well, you have to. At least if you're going to Europe, book everything in advance. If you're going to another place, I would say still booking everything in advance. I left May 30th and everything was booked by the first week in May, which is late. Like, I should have booked my stuff months in advance, at least 3 months. If you're planning a backpacking trip, you want to book all your travel accommodations and your flights, buses, trains, and all of that at least 3 months. I would say 6 months is like the perfect amount of time. That's when you'll probably get it like the cheapest. But you know, some places you might stay might not let you book that far out. So definitely 3 months I think is really perfect, but between 3 to 6 months is a good amount of time. But step 5 is book your accommodations. Now, me personally, I chose to stay in hostels because that's a cheap option, and hostels are known to be receptive to backpackers in Europe. I had no problems in Europe with my hostels. I'm gonna link my blog page in the description box down below, and that's gonna detail like where I stayed, how much I paid, and all of that. But I had absolutely no problems in hostels, and I never stayed in like a single room. I always had like roommates, between 6 to 10 people living in my rooms, and I had no problems. I had no problems, and none of my stuff was stolen. And that's another thing. If you're going to Europe, pro tip, bring a padlock so you can always lock up your belongings. And how I found those hostels, which goes along with booking your accommodations and travel, I did mine at the same time. That's like step 5 and 6, travel and then accommodations, or you can do accommodations and travel. I would do travel first because, you know, how are you going to get to these places? But I did mine at the same time, so that's step 5 and 6. And I used hostelworld.com. They were good for like the bookings, but one thing I don't like about Hostelworld is that a lot of their rates for the different rooms that they have for the hostels is non-refundable. So no matter what happens, they won't refund your money. The owner of the hostel can mistreat you. You can be locked out. Anything can happen and they won't refund you, and I don't like that. Travel in Europe is very cheap. I would say it's just amazing. Like, I flew places for like $12, like from country to country, like Budapest to Milan for like $12. Like, that would never happen in the US. $12 to a place? No. And that's after the conversion, so you know it's even cheaper in euros. I use GoEuro.com, which is it's a website that compares different travel options throughout Europe. So you say, for example, I want to go from London to Paris, and it'll show you the cost of a flight, it'll show you the cost of a train, and it'll show you the cost of a bus ride. And you just simply click on the one that you prefer. So for example, literally how I did it for every single city. So I would type in, I'm going from London to Paris on X date. It showed me the different options. Paris to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Berlin, Berlin to Poland, Poland to Budapest, Budapest to Milan, Milan to Cinque Terre, Cinque Terre to Rome, Rome to Barcelona, Barcelona to Seville, Seville to Madrid, Madrid to Iceland, and so forth. I literally booked everything besides my flights to Europe and from Europe. I did that on another website. But everything in Europe, I use GoEuro.com, and I highly, highly, highly recommend them. For my flight to Europe and going home, I use StudentUniverse.com, another website I really don't recommend, I have to be honest, for totally separate reasons. But Student Universe is another website. It's for students. You can use it up until the age of 26. That helps you find the cheapest flights. So most of their flights are in the economy. They're an economy ticket, so like basically the cheapest basic tickets. Make sure, if you're bringing a check bag with you, make sure that you know the price of the check bag, because a lot of times, especially with economy tickets, which are the cheapest basic ticket, you are going to have to pay for a check bag. And sometimes with the really cheap airlines, you have to pay for a carry-on. Step 7, pack up your bags. Of course, now you're going. Now you're on your way. I chose to, take the bare minimum. So I took 4 pants and 3 shirts, and of course on my toiletries, I had to have my makeup. No matter what, backpacking on a budget, I still had to have my makeup. We started at step 1, that should be step 0. Ground level work. You have to get your passport if you're going to be doing international travel. Now, you definitely don't have to, because I am even going to go to all 50 states. I've only been to like 15 to 20 states in America, so I'm definitely going to do that too. But if you're doing international travel, step 0, ground level, go with your passport. You can Google how to do that online. It is kind of expensive. It's about like almost $200, a little bit more. Step 8 is to change your money. You definitely want to change your money ahead of time. There are so many different things that can go wrong when you can simply Google currency exchange locations near me, and several different offices pop up. I flew out of New York, so I went in Manhattan, and I got pounds, and I got euros. I got pounds, euros, zloty, which is Poland's currency, Hungarian forint, and was that it? And Icelandic krona, which is Iceland's currency. And I made sure I had all my money, and whatever cash I had, that's what I spent. And if I could use my card, like, that's another thing. We're on step 9. Make sure you have a Visa card with a chip, because a lot of places these days they want that. They only will accept like American cards unless they only accept American cards with the chip, basically. So that's step 9 after you get your currency. Well, that should really be like, if the passport was step 0, that should be like step -1. You got to make sure you have a working bank card, and that takes some time. But most bank cards these days do have the chip, so just make sure you have a chip. That could be step 9. And I'm going back to step 8, y'all. I'm all over the place, but I want to make sure that you have everything you need. After you change your currency and make sure you have your debit card with the chip, it's time to get to traveling. Because you've already booked your accommodation. It's time to literally get up and just go. I remember the day before I left, I was like, I don't think I want to do this. Like, everyone around me was telling me for so long, oh my God, you're so brave for doing this. I can't believe it. Oh my God, oh my God. And I felt like, oh, it's nothing, it's whatever. Then the day before, I was like, I don't know. I might not go. But all my stuff had been booked, so I was going. And I went, and it was the best experience of my life. And now I'm going to be traveling all over the world. Not backpacking, living out of a backpack and living and changing countries and living with different people every 3 to 4 days. That's not for everyone. I didn't mind it, and I don't mind it, but it's not for everyone. Some people want more luxurious accommodations. Some people want to only go to a few places. And some people are willing to pay for that comfort. Do what's best for you. I think that's the biggest piece of travel advice that I can give. I did what was best for me, and I completed this trip because I knew it would challenge me. And I'm so glad that I did, and it was so rewarding, and I highly, highly recommend backpacking. Step 10 is just to have fun, meet people, extend your comfort zone, walk up to a local and just say, hi, how are you? What is it like living here? That's my challenge. Step 10. Extend your comfort zone and have fun. I think that's the biggest thing that I learned being in foreign places. Just be open, right? And just try to have fun. We're only gonna live once, you know, YOLO. That's my little thing, YOLO. It's so corny, but it's true. We literally only have one life to live, so why not travel and make the most of it? So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely comment. I want to know what you guys think. Have you backpacked before? Are you thinking about backpacking? Are you nervous? Are you excited? I want all the details. Comment down below. Definitely hit that subscribe button. And yeah, I hope to see you guys soon on my next video. Bye.